Hello all and welcome to our new video. This will be part 2 of our reflection for the first week of IPL. In the previous video, we covered 5 teams and how their experience has been so far in week 1. Today in week 2, we'll be covering our thoughts on the balanced 5 teams. So let's then go ahead and start off our second video.
So first team we'll pick is the defending champions, Gujarat Titans, and we had discussed in our preview. It was a very impressive auction strategy, and now that we see the team, it is even more impressive. I think I'll start with the note for Kane Williamson. It was very sad to see because the kind of injury was not expected. He was trying to take a catch and trying to save a six, and he was giving his all as usual. But sadly, he got injured, and now he's probably out for the World Cup, is what we know. So our thoughts with him that it's unfortunate that first game of IPL it would have been exciting to see him in Gujarat Titans and the World Cup. So that's the sad part.
Yeah, and considering he had just recovered from an elbow injury also, right? And had
Hmm.
found this purple patch of form that double
Patch
hundred against
after a
Sri
long time.
Lanka and then guiding New Zealand to win. So while he'll be a big miss for GT, I mean New Zealand fans will be even more heartbroken, right? Because he's now the first player who's officially ruled out of the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I'm sure in the months to come also we'll hear more heartbreaking news. But this one really touched us. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's such a nice guy, right? Although he causes Indian fans a lot of pain in ICC tournaments, but really, that's the kind of magic he has. That he's such a nice guy. We still feel bad that it happened to
Yeah.
him. So that was the bad part for Gujarat Titans. I think that was the only bad part. After that, it's all been good things. So instead of Williamson, they discovered another player called Sai Sudarshan, who was discovered last year, was pretty impressive. But that innings against Delhi was pretty mature, and he played like a champion, like holding one end, and then he knew the haters were going to be from the other end. So a very good addition, and he's going to be that impact player they'll keep using as that extra batter at number three. So now the top three have three Indians, where Gale has shown that this is going to be a different IPL, and he'll be a bank for them with the 500-run season. Saha is the impressive one actually. In our previews, we had said Bharat will be getting the nod, but Saha has left no opportunity, like let go of this opportunity, and very impressive with his hitting. Right, I mean, I was surprised actually the way he's providing the impetus and setting it up for Gill and even Sudarshan.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I like about Sai Sudarshan is he has such a stable base, right? If you see,
Mm.
he never looks like he's falling over or being out of place. I really like the way he keeps his stance very still, and he's got good shots as well, right? All around the wicket. So, and a guy with a very good head on his shoulders. So, he has been the fine so far. And Gill and Saha have been incredible up front, right?
Incredible.
And what about that middle order, right? I mean, it's
And yeah,
so
God.
intimidating. Pandya, Miller, there's Tevatia, there's Rashid, and now, as fans might know, it's going to get even more stronger, right? With Shanaka coming in now as the replacement for Williamson. So, I don't know. I just can't imagine how opposition teams will bowl to them, but intimidating middle order, right?
Very. And they've just the first match was typical Gujarat Titans, wherein they looked dead and buried by the end of the 2 overs were left, and then Rashid comes in and just tongs Sheher for a six and a four and closes the match. And Tivate it's a mandatory four in the last over, and this guy looks in trouble, right? Like in the first 10 balls, when you see him, it's like
Yeah,
bat and ball lag nahi raha hai, कुछ टाइमिंग नहीं है एंड लाइक क्या कर रहा है ये क्यों खेल रहा है एंड इज प्लेइंग लाइक अ स्पेशलिस्ट बैटर इन दिस साइड ही डजंट बॉल
yeah,
एनीमोर राइट सो
yeah.
स्पेशलिस्ट फिनिशर तो I was very shocked. And फिर एकदम से उसका timing आ जाता है, starts hitting left, right, center. So and Rashid is just a brilliant batsman to watch with his flicks and headers and everything. So Dasun Chanaka, we discussed in our auctions, a very underrated player and a perfect player. I mean, they got I think the better bargain. Unfortunately, with Williamson, they're getting a cheaper resource and is going to provide more output in T20 standards. So getting him in, and what I see with this team is they're becoming like Mumbai Indians, the template wherein the 5, 6, 7 are going to be the engine room. Pandey is the common factor. Pandey is going to play as a batter at four. Pandey is going to be that captain who doesn't perform so often like Rohit, but he'll be a good captain. Gale is the bona fide superstar who's going to be the opener and play two foreign pacers with an Indian pacer, which is Shami, and then you have Rashid Khan, which I think Mumbai Indians never had a great spinner, but they have Rashid Khan on top of that. So this is a very deadly team now, and
Yeah.
I think special mention to Nehraji's thinking where uh, Miller wasn't there available for the first match, and who does he replace him with? The 3D player Vijay Shankar. And that was next level. That okay, हमने सोचा भी नहीं था कि इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर में विजय शंकर होगा So 3D से वो 1D बन गया and he's played two decent knocks in his defense. Why doesn't he bowl? I have no idea. Is he injury?
I
What?
don't think he's injured. I didn't read at
Uh,
least, during our research that he's got injured. So that's a,
mm.
odd one. But a quick word for Shami, right? I mean, that guy
Oh,
is bowling thunderbolts, right? First
Thunderbolts.
match he cleaned up Conway's stumps, and second match he was consistently
Warner was.
beating Warner's defense. So,
Uh,
getting such high profile batsmen into trouble speaks volumes, and now he's looking like a shoe in for India's World Cup squad, right? So the way
yes,
he's
yes. I think.
getting that ball to nip around, he's looking doubly dangerous. And a quick word on Joseph as well, Azari Joseph. I think
Mm,
first match he was a bit expensive, but second match the way he was getting the ball to climb,
mm,
very impressive. So
very
another
disruptive.
140-150 kilometer bowler. Sumit, your thoughts on Joshua Little? I think he
Yeah.
might be one who might be replaced very soon, right?
Uh, Yes, he got a start. I mean, the first match, first over, he got tonked. Then he had a decent comeback. But both matches together, he has gone for on a higher side. They have Mavi in the ranks, so I'm surprised he's not come in yet. They're going ahead with Yash Dayal instead of Mavi. So that is the possible option, and that will give you the dream finishing, right? When you get Shanaka in, so then finally people are batting in the right number, and Rashid at 8, Shanaka and 7, and 6 पे Tewatia. So and Mirror at 5. So those four plus Pandya, who now is a consolidator, and Gale at the top. So that is going to be the best batting lineup by far in terms of the finishing, and no game will be over when GT is chasing with that lineup because
Right.
everybody hits at 15-20 runs per over in the end. So I'm looking forward to see that combination, and sadly for that combination, Joshua Little will have to go back, and that's I think where the thinking came that we have an Indian pacer in our ranks who can be that super sub also.
Right.
So really looking forward to this side, and I think they have the best bowling attack
I
by
think
far.
playoffs is looking easy for them, right? At the
Very easy
current
with a
moment,
two
it's
out of
looking
two.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so
looking.
they have the best bowling attack, I think, and I think that perfectly ties into a next team who ironically have the best bowling attack with them, which is Punjab. And now this is a team where we really had our jokes and we took our jibes at them, and I think they will. And being Punjab, they're table toppers, 2 out of 2, and they have been 4 out of 4 also. I think in one of the IPLs. So then Punjab will do what Punjab does. So let's hope that it doesn't happen because Johnny Bairstow's injury was a blessing in disguise because they discovered a new guy, Parab Simran, and now they have an Indian opener which allows them to play Raza, which we wanted. So Raza, not that much impact in terms of batting, but with the bowl, now you see the bowling, and that's very impressive. So they have a left arm spinner with Harpreet Barar, Rahul Chahar, they have a Raza, they have Arshdeep, they have Sam Curran, and then they have a choice between Rabada and Ellis. So now Ellis somehow comes into the picture, and he did a very decent job. He played ahead of Rabada in the previous match. So they're bowling, and they were bowling at the death against Rajasthan, and Punjab was able to save a match. So that
Yeah,
tells you that Karan was required, and he bowled a brilliant last over. Right,
yeah.
18 was needed last over or what? 18-16, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Karan was very good, and Ellis has been the surprise package, right? He
Mm,
is a very skiddy customer. I find that his balls, scoot through very quickly. Good cutters as well, right? And he doesn't overdo the cutters. So that is what I
mm,
liked. He has a good fast talk ball, and he occasionally has this variation. Chahar has been good, as you mentioned. Karan with his death bowling has been good. First match he did get tonged a little bit.
mm.
Second match, I think it was a high profile over against Hetmeyer and
Yeah, in
Jurel,
that
but he
form.
came up with the goods. So he's been doing well, and the batting is so positive, right? Prabsimran
Yeah.
charges down the wicket, and
Every
Hoyk's bowlers. And there was an interesting anecdote I read where Shikhar Dhawan
some.
apparently told him in the game against Rara that look, you haven't faced Bolt, but I'll take strike against him because I've played him.
Acha.
And I think Prab
Uh,
Simran said, no, I'll take him on. It's fine. So that shows the level of confidence, right? So he's doing well. Dhawan took on Chahal very well, right? Because
oh yeah.
Chahal in the first game took 4 wickets, and
Uh,
he decided, okay, I have to go after this guy, right? So he took that gauntlet. Rajapaksa second game unfortunately got retired
got
hurt
hit.
with that hit from
Mm,
Shikhar Dhawan. But first game again, and Rajapaksa is not a pretty batsman, right? He keeps falling all over the place, and he's never, he's not like
and,
beautiful to watch in terms of his play, but
aesthetically,
effective. 50 of 30 balls. So he's there, and then they have Karan, they have
Jitesh, yeah,
Jitesh,
Jitesh.
Jitesh,
Yeah,
Jitesh.
he
Jitesh
was. He
Sharma
did very well
also
last
is
season.
very
Mm,
aggressive, and I like his offside strokes, right? He comes down
mm.
and hits it over covers. He's a good cutter of the ball as well. So Jitesh Sharma also is a good one. So the batting is really exciting, and this team is, for the first time I think in many years, looking like a team which can actually do well in this IPL.
Unfortunately, they were like this last season also. I
Yeah,
followed them and they were exciting in the beginning, and then the wheels came off. One positive for them, Livingston is coming. He
right.
is going to get the clearance from ECB, so he is not expected for this weekend's match, but in the next match, which is against Gujarat Titans, he should be playing. So then the question will be who he plays for, and I think uh, your LS between LS and Rabada, one person has to play. Karan is obviously going to play, so that leaves us with Bhanuka Rajapaksha and Raza. I think one of them has to make way
There
for.
are plenty of options here.
So Bhanuka Rajapaksa is an interesting player. Again, Asia Cup 90, I think 40, 50 for 5. He blew apart Pakistan, and he's been there since. So uh, there's a category of players. Okay, so we call them Kulhadi players, and they just I hate it, like as if कुल्हाड़ी मार रहे हैं किसी को पेड़ काटने के लिए, and these are such players who just bash the ball. Okay, they just stand and hit. One more example will be Shivam Dube when we discuss. He's a kulhadi player. So these players are very fascinating to watch because there's no footwork. They're just hand-eye coordination. And they just hit the ball as hard as possible. So they're never it's aesthetically like good to
Pleasing.
watch, but pleasing. Yeah, but they do the job on their days. So I think the original Kulhali player we'll discuss soon, which people might not like, but he was at that time. People might not like it. We'll discuss it in our next team. So the next team, obviously, we are wearing the same color jersey for that because uh, I really want to salute Dhoni for that match against LSG. Poor guy had Deshpande to bowl in the death. Last 5 overs, 3 overs Deshpande bowled, 1 over was by Hangrekar, and I think Chair had 1 over, or was he done by then?
I think Cheher had one over. Yeah.
There was there. So 5 overs, and they looked like they're going to lose this match because people are blasting them. And Deshpande's first over went for plenty. And I think only one man in this world could have rescued that game, where he told the bowlers, "Please bowl here, and I'll give you the right field." That is something you did not see yesterday in RCB's match with Faf's captaincy, but with Dhoni's captaincy, at least he told Hungariker to bowl outside of Yorkers. It's okay, you give your wides, but he gave him a short third man. He gave him a proper third man, a deep cover, and a long off. So he cut all the angles, and if the batter is that good that he can, hit the ball like over covers for six, then it's okay. Credit to the batsman. So the plan of action was there, and my like salute to Dhoni for managing with that bowling attack, and he has to do that the entire season. I think his captaincy and how he rotates his 6-7 options is going to define the season for CSK. Because batting wise, that team is crazy. They batted 11, and Hangrekar is actually a tonker. Poor guy, I don't think will bat this season because he bats so low. So would love to see him bat also. I've heard a lot about it. So
Yeah.
CSK, yeah, I think brilliant, right? In
Yeah,
certain
the
aspects. Yeah.
batting is superb. I mean, Gaikwad again, man, he's looking like he's batting on another planet, right? And I loved his game. I mean, he has obviously those front foot drives, but even his back foot game is good. Like Ansari Joseph tried to bounce him out, but he hooked him for six, and even the spinners he played very well. So I remember him stepping down and hitting Rashid for six also. So
Mm.
he's looking good. Conway is anyway a good player,
Very class player.
consistent, right?
Mm.
And the middle order is good. The bowling is where I think they will struggle. Like Mumbai, even
They
their
will.
attack is looking toothless. Tushar Deshpande is bowling so many no balls,
He'll do it.
wides. I
He'll get
mean,
better. I'm
yeah,
telling you, he'll
hopefully
get
he'll
better.
get better. Hungrekar looks like an exciting talent. Touches
Mm.
even up to 145, 150. But and Moeen Ali was the game changer in the second
Game.
game. First game he didn't get bowled, but second game 4 wickets. I think that is where the match turned. So he's a useful one. Stokes I think will have to turn up soon, right? 2 games not good with
Mm.
the bat. Even got hit with the ball. Took two good catches though
Good
in
player. He's
the
a good fielder.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
but yeah, he'll have to step up. And I would like to see Jadeja batting higher up.
Bit
Now
higher.
I know it's already there is Raidu there, there's Dubey there is other batsmen there
Moyen,
also,
Stokes. Yeah, four
Moin
middle order.
Stokes.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
I somehow feel Jadeja needs to bat a bit higher. He's at 7 right now, still slightly being underutilized with the bat.
So I think that's where, you know, I think one few more games for Ben.
Hmm.
Problem with Ben is he will stand up when the chips are down. When the team is dead and beat, this is the guy who stands up. So he's a clutch player and he always stands up. But I think one of the problems I see also is he's not available in the knockouts for CSK. So that dependency should not be created on him. A
Correct.
good suggestion, as you said, bat Jadeja higher. So if you take out Stokes, you get another slot open, and CSK need two foreign bowlers for sure. So Tikshana
Definitely.
was going to be one of them, and Sisanda Makala is the replacement they have sought for Kyle Jameson. So it's worth a shot going with these two bowlers because the batting. If you're batting till 11, I think you can take out a
Yeah.
batsman and you still
And
are
bring the
batting
bowler.
till 10. And
Yeah.
I think that'll Dhoni is smart that way. He will, I think,
Yeah.
figure it out once Ben doesn't work for a few more matches. The
Yeah.
problem
And
is
this is
if he
where
works,
they're
then what
missing
to do?
somebody like a Dwayne Bravo, right? I think Dwayne
Yeah.
Bravo's 4 overs were a bank. Now they don't have a bank.
Between Akashdeep and Deshpande, who would you choose?
Tough question. I will let Dhoni answer that one. I don't think I can take a call. Both are, man. Oh, when they go bad, they go really bad. Both of them. So
And when they are good, they're still bad. So yeah,
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
problem. So there are certain bowlers you look and you worry for them कि इनका आज अच्छा दिन नहीं होगा बहुत बुरा होने वाला है करियर खत्म हो सकता है. I think people like Dinda, Vinay Kumar reminded me that. So when I see these guys now, I get these scary thoughts कि अरे ये गया आज अगर वो पीछे पड़ गया ना somebody gets a
correct,
hold of them, they can go for 20 plus runs. But kudos to Deshpande. I'll still maintain because he showed the Yorker in the 20th over, which I don't know why he didn't show it for his earlier overs. Maybe that is something he should try. But the guy has a Yorker, and because it is Dhoni, that's why I'm saying there's a chance because he will get a plan of action, he'll get the right field. He might still do the job for CSK what they want. So let's see how CSK does. But with that long batting, and I was surprised with the Chennai pitch. It wasn't the typical Chennai pitch. Batting beauty it was this time.
correct. Didn't
So
take turn.
uh,
Yeah,
Yannick Dunn. So he likes his slow bowlers and play the slow 130, 150 match basically. So, but CSK's batting so good, I think they might bank on having higher scoring pitches this time around. So I still maintain CSK will just scoot through again. Two matches, one win, one loss. Typical CSK. They will just do this alternate win loss thing. They don't believe in momentum. They will just have these on days, off days, and they never lose very badly. I think that's again
correct.
between RCB and
Yeah,
CSK. That's a major difference. They don't let the net run ever go so bad. So yeah, and coming to net run rate and strike rates, we'll come to LSG because the captain says strike rates are not that important. And since he said that, I think he's maintained that from Punjab days. It's been 4 seasons. He maintained that for India also. So LSG, the only team where the foreigners are performing like gun foreigners, except one. I mean, 3 out of 4 have been brilliant in every
correct.
aspect, whatever they got. And Kyle Mayers, right? Reincarnation of Chris Gale.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think the
Yeah,
two innings that I've seen Myers play and takes you back to those golden days of RCB where Gale used to kill the bowling attacks, right? And
stand and
but
deliver.
in fact, I would say he has better footwork than Gale. Gale used to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
quite
he moves his feet.
yeah. At least
I
Myers makes an
hate him.
effort to move his feet. So, but very good player. I'm very impressed, and he's good with the new ball also. He gets the ball
His
to tail
swings.
in, so
Yeah.
he's good. Now the interesting aspect will come once Decock is back, right?
Hmm.
So then, do you play both, and do you unleash
You have
both of
to.
them? In the first 6 overs, can Rahul move to three? Because see, Puran now has claimed his place, right? Both innings,
Yes.
I think he's done really well. I know in the preview videos we were skeptical about him, but
Skeptical.
what I'm impressed is earlier he used to be a very predominantly leg side player. Now he's opened up the
Offside game.
offside also. So and he's been given a role of a proper finisher here, right? He's no
Yes.
longer
Yes.
floating in the batting order, so that is good. Yeah, so that will be interesting to see. But their Indian players have been. I know it's only 2 games, but Indian players Rahul, Krunal, Huda haven't exactly stepped up to the plate. Bishnoi also has taken wickets, but been expensive.
Hmm.
Your
Hmm.
thoughts on that, Sumit? I think the Indian core has to perform, right, for them to go through.
Yeah, yeah. For any IPL side to do well, the Indian core
Yeah,
has to stand up, and that's where they are lacking. The foreigners have overperformed as per me. No team has so many foreign performers performing so soon, right? So Myers and Decock have to start. But one thing that was observed in the South African T20 league was Myers was playing in the same team as Decock. So Decock came at 3 in that game. I personally would want these two to open and just scare the living
yeah,
daylights of every team. And
yeah.
Rahul, anyways, is not going to hit out, right? He anyways wants to play his 120 stag rate initially, so he
Correct,
can come in the middle order. And again, this is what we discussed. It's a World Cup year, and he's going to bat in the middle order. Might as well start getting used to it, but I don't think he'll see that because there's too much pressure. He needs to show 500 runs for the season because he has been a bank. I mean, whatever the strike rate, but the past 4 5 years, he's been the most prolific batsman in the IPL.
right.
So he will try to maintain that. I think definitely Stoinis is the one who will miss out sadly. and he's not bowling also. So playing him as a pure batsman, he's not really performed also. So it's a good chance to just drop him and let him light that fire under his belly, and then he
Correct.
comes back with a vengeance to show a point. So that's a good way. It's a long season, right? That's a good thing. People will lose form and they'll gain form, so they can swap
Mm,
around with the forwards.
correct.
Mark Wood was the big one for me, missing last season, and he
Yeah.
showed that impact. That two ball, right? Two balls against Delhi Capitals just broke them, because before that Delhi was playing well,
Right.
but two consecutive bolts and everybody got scared at what is happening. Just throwing bolts at them. Uh, Wonderful bowler, right? I mean,
Very
inexperienced
good.
150 plus. Yeah,
Very good. And we've seen in the IPL, right? Anybody who's 150 plus has that capacity to make a difference. Last year, we remember Umran Malik and Lockie Ferguson. This year, Mark Wood, I mean, I'm really in awe of that guy, right? He's a
mm.
genuine wicket taker. But for me, the only problem is the bowling, right? In the
Death
bowling,
bowling, I guess.
yeah, the death bowling,
Mm.
especially. Now, how will they try to work around that one? Because Avesh Khan got brutally hit in the previous game against CSK, right?
Mm.
And then he went off the radar. There were no balls, there were wides. He was getting hit for fours and sixes. So, who will come in for Avesh Khan? And Bishnoi, I like the guy, but again, very predictable with his googlies, right? I don't
Googlies.
know why doesn't he try more of the stock ball, which is the leg spinner, which goes from leg stump to off stump. All his balls tend to come in, so I think that is also a concern where he might get more predictable as time goes on.
I think I forgot to mention that in the last video. So, you know, Paul Adams and Imran Tahir, while having a baby, were watching Anil Kumble and Ravi Bishnoi. So there were four spinners together to make Suresh Sharma. So
Yeah,
same googly problems, but Bishnoi needs to develop the leg spinner, as you said, and that will make
correct,
him very, very potent, because he bowls at such a pace. Nobody is going to come down the track to tonk him. So he'll get better. He's very young. I think that's one thing we forget, because we see these guys for so many years. He's still in his early 20s, so very
correct,
bright future. I think he'll get better with age only. The death
correct.
bowling is a problem for me, because Mark Wood in the last over you saw. I mean, people were raving about Dhoni, but those are very fast bowls, and Dhoni just, again, the original Kolhadi player for me, he just hit his axe and it just flew off, right? So that tennis shot was also brilliant. Kudos
Correct.
to him, but that extra pace really helped him out. If it was a slow ball, it would have been very difficult to do those shots. So he's not an ideal, like, 20th over, 19th over bowler.
They're
Even
missing
England
Mohsin
doesn't
Khan.
use him.
I think that is apparent.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, from what I know, he has blood clots on his shoulder, so very unlikely he'll play this season. They have
Mm,
kept him just in the
mm,
hope maybe he gets fit midway through, but
mm.
unlikely he'll be there, because he was the missing link. Because Avesh and Mohsin were finishing it up for them, and then Wood could have been enforced in the middle overs. So they don't have that. That's and their impact player, I think, is questionable. It
Mm.
worked in one game a bit, but Krishnamma Gautam as a bowler, I really don't rate him that much. They have Amit Mishra, and they should learn from Mumbai Indians that Piyush Chawla is still a legend in these
Yeah.
parts. So Amit Mishra is a perfect impact sub player. Just let him bowl his four overs and let him go. He doesn't want to field. He doesn't want to bat. Use his skill and experience. And he's a very good leg spinner, and it'll help
Mm.
Bishnoi as well if they bowl the spin duo, right?
Correct.
Good, different kind of leg spinners. I hope
Yeah.
they use him. He was in the list.
Mm.
I think Unadkat is also in that list, scarily enough. So they tried Unadkat for death bowling, and then I think he wasn't playing the
No, he
second
just
game.
doesn't have
So
the pace, right? And
yeah,
yeah, I think leg spin is a very pertinent point to mention because even Karan Sharma is doing well for RCB, right? So Amit Mishra is a good go, and somehow I feel Krunal Pandya needs to bat a little lower down the order.
lower.
Four is too high for him, right? So maybe a
Yeah.
little bit they'll have to figure out. The team is there, the squad is good. Just that they'll have to think of these death bowling options and the slotting of the batting order.
The
Because if
lower middle
Stoinis
order.
goes, if let's say Decock and Myers open, then Rahul
Open.
should ideally be batting in that middle order to get
He
used
has
to his
to
India
bat it.
slot also,
Huh,
plus also propel the score for LSG.
correct. He needs to bat at three, and then Huda needs to get better, because he was batting very well last year, again struggling.
Correct.
Huda at four, and then I think Badoni is somebody who should get a chance. He has a very good middle order kind of game. He's not a seven type. I mean, this physique is not that, right? People have Russell
Mm,
at seven. He's sending the poor guy like small, very thin, but he's a brilliant timer and a good player and a
mm,
good double, single double game. So get
correct.
him at five, and then you get your Krunal Pandyas and your Purans to finish it off. Because Krunal he didn't look the part whenever he got promoted, and he's a good player. Like in
Mm,
Mumbai Indians' role was very good. Play anywhere from five to seven, and depending on the situation. So they have the tools again, a very good side. Death bowling, I foresee a problem. and they need to just find a solution. So let's see if they have somebody else in the ranks. They tried this new bowler. I am sadly forgetting the name. Forgot the name also, but yeah, we'll discuss in the next review. But he
Indian
was
or
there.
foreigner?
Indian. They
Ah,
tried somebody. He also got hit in the last game.
okay.
So they were thinking that, okay, let's try one new part. So maybe they have
Mm.
somebody in the ranks.
Mm.
And coming to our last team, then Delhi Capitals. We foresee. I think we discussed this again. Having a foreign captain can be a problem, and now it's very evident because Warner hit a 50 in the first game, but it was a very Babur type innings,
Yeah,
right? He's playing
48
for
balls,
his
50. Yeah,
playing his 50, never looked as part of the chase, and okay, he wanted to regain his form. He sacrificed a match, but second game again, Shami should have taken him long back. He was just lucky to survive from and play 30 odd balls, and even then, I think 36 or 32. So very soon we're going to have this conversation whether he is going to be in the side or not. If Delhi continue to lose, because that's what happens, the captain will get the blame, and they have very good foreigners. So unfortunately, last game they had to drop
Roman Powell.
Roman Powell, right?
Yeah.
And they are batting Riley Russo at five, which is a crime as per me, because
He has to
he's a
bat
perfect
within the
number.
top three. Yeah,
What top three, right? So either could have been an opener, and they again Ponting is the coach, so I know the Australians get a preference, and South Africans might not be liked so much. It happens; it's very natural to have some bias. But Mitchell March hasn't done anything for 2 games, and I'm not saying drop him, but you need to make a call between these two because Roman Paul you definitely need in that finishing role because you don't have anybody, and get Rice. Russo at three, and Nokia is obviously a shoe in. He showed that with his the game he came back in. He rattled the stumps for those players.
right.
So how do you fix this team? I mean, you see any
No, I
solutions?
think we spoke about it in the preview videos as well, right? And
Mm,
this was one of the teams I think we confidently said, you know, high chance
struggle.
of not making it to the playoffs, and it's showing, right? There are the even Prithvi Shaw and Sarfaraz are getting exposed at this level of bowling where it's fast, right? You saw how Wood
Mm,
totally
mm.
exposed them,
Oh yeah.
and they will get
Mm,
such bowlers on a regular basis. Every team has a good 140-kilometer bowler, so I am not that confident of this team's batting. Even the bowling, right? Even the bowling is getting
mm.
tonked for high scores. Except Norke played 4 overs out of Norke, and the rest 16 overs are easy, right? Sakaria got hit in the first game. Mukesh
Khalil.
Kumar, the guy right
Well,
arm pacer,
decent.
was
I.
decent, but then even he
Mm-hmm.
got hit by Miller in the previous game. So
Miller.
yeah, Khalil is one sort of decent bowler there.
Bowler.
But then again,
Kuldeep is
there's
doing decently. I think.
nothing.
Kuldeep got hit. I think he's still doing okay. I don't think he's got murdered yet, like Chahal
Yeah,
did for 50 runs.
yeah,
So they have Kuldeep and they have Nokia. I think 8 overs are still good. But yeah, normally teams have 16 good overs and 4 overs they try to make up
correct, correct.
from other players. But this team needs to make up 12. And Mukesh Kumar also does look sensible. Again, the tools are missing, not that fast. And so the variation is not there.
Correct.
So I just have some issues with this team in the sense they have a Yash Dhul who's primed to be the next big thing in Indian cricket, and you're not trying him out for some reason. You need to give him a run. And if Sarfraz, I mean, unfortunately, he will come at the place of Sarfraz, and I know it's unfair on him, but then you play Sarfraz right at the end, let him be the finisher. But you need to
Mhm.
give somebody who's been touted as the next big thing a full season, so that he gives you the returns in the next season probably.
Right.
Even Kohli in his initial RCB days wasn't Kohli, right? So I'm
Correct.
not saying he'll do a Kohli, but definitely give um, a try to your potential next superstar. And Akshar Patel again. Why don't people see the kind of batter he is? They keep wasting him at 7 and 8. I mean, this guy, honestly, if Rishabh Pant is batting at 4, you can make a case for Akshar at 4 also. It's worth a shot, and it might not work. Then you can go back to the original formula. But he's a thoroughbred Indian batter, and the way he hit even in the last game, though that 30 odd in 20 balls, 167, 170 strike rate. I don't know what is the bias against the poor guy.
Yeah, I
So
don't
yeah.
know. Somehow he's been labeled as a lower order player, but now he's even shown in the India Australia Test series, right? He's now a proper batsman, where in fact he was earlier such a good spin bowler. The spin bowling has now gone
A
down.
bit bad. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's
yeah,
not a very good
dramatically.
bowler, but
His
still,
batting
but
is
still.
really good. I think they need to play him up the order, considering they're already struggling now, right, in their batting. So why not make him play at 5? And he can be a good counter for the spinners as well in the middle,
He plays
right? With
spin very. I think he was the best
Yeah,
player of spinners against
slog his
Australia.
slog sweep game is really good. And I remember he played a one-handed six, and Rishabh Pant was there in the crowd, and he
Nice.
said it's like a he's like honoring Rishabh Pant, right, by playing that
My God.
one-handed six. So I think Akshar needs to come up for sure, for sure.
Rishabh Pant, there was a meme, and I know it's a bit dark, but apparently in one of the matches in Delhi, everybody's going to wear a Rishabh Pant jersey, right? And the meme was like Rishabh Pant saying, "मैं मरा नहीं हूँ, मैं आ जाऊंगा next season." So I think people need to. I mean, he's there in the dugout. That's fine. Like, इतना भी वो मत करो. मतलब ठीक है.
Correct.
Like God saved him, and I am pretty sure he'll be back next year.
Correct. I think Ricky
And fitter.
Ponting has got a little emotional,
He was very.
with
He
the
called him and
accident.
everything,
Yeah,
which is good.
yeah,
But he's
yeah.
getting fitter than ever. I think his perspective of life will change, and I have a very strong feeling he'll be a very mature Rishabh Pant when he comes back.
Correct,
So he might be even better than before. So let's
correct,
see how that turns out. Last thing I wanted to discuss was the impact player rule that has been not used that well. I think Delhi is a perfect example wherein they have this new kid called Aman Khan, apparently a lower order basher or some finisher, and he batted above Akshar for some reason. So
right,
then he failed. And the thought process is, just replace a bowler with a batsman and a batsman with a bowler, which is fine. But I think ultimately you should wait and see how your batting is doing before you get a batter in. Because Delhi versus Lucknow was a perfect example wherein they got rattled with those two quick wickets, right?
right,
And you would not want Sarfaraz to walk out that time. So you would want a solid batsman, and you are blessed with somebody like Manish Pandey. Again, a guy who hasn't done well, but in the domestic circuit, he's a thoroughbred, very
correct,
experienced campaigner. It's worth a shot to get. Ideally, I really think the makeup for four substitutes should be like a consolidator, a dasher, a spinner, and a fast bowler. And fifth one, you keep a foreigner because you want a good fielder in the outfield. So fine, but you need to figure out which type of bowler to bowl when versus which batter to get in. I think some teams are just blatantly putting the batsman out, like in the 19th over. When a bowler completes his quota, they replace him. And that is not sensible because you need to see how your batting is doing. In case, and I think RCB ironically did it well, but they just forgot to use the substitute because they did not substitute Rawat right in after the bowling, but they forgot to get him only and they put Harshad before him, which was another
right.
blunder. But you need to be. They have given a lot of strategizing, and I think I would follow Gujarat's model. It's very simple. Try to play your best team, and then you can adjust. If there's a batting collapse, you get in an extra batter by replacing
Correct.
your batter who does not bowl, so that he doesn't need to be on the field. And for the bowling also, if one of your bowlers is getting like hammered, for example, Akashdeep, right? He's getting killed. You remove him and get another bowler in. So I think there is more. Again, like most things in IPL, people figure out a strategy over time. I think this is one
Right.
of those things where I think needs to be used better.
Yeah, I think teams are still finding their feet, right? Right now, it's
Mm.
more, they
Eight
still,
batsmen versus six bowlers. I think
yeah, it's
that's what
not
they're saying.
strategic. It's very,
Hmm.
like they, as you said, they're just replacing a batsman with a bowler or a bowler with a batsman. It's not depending on the match situation. It's like
Correct.
stuck in their head that this is how we'll go, and we'll go ahead with it
I agree.
irrespective of the match. And somehow, one closing thought on the impact player, I somehow feel, and we did discuss this, I think it diminishes the all-rounders role, right? And we
Yes.
know in Indian cricket, in 90s, we remember Sehwag used to come and turn his arm over, Yuvraj,
Such an
Sachin, Saurabh, everybody used to come and do that. Now, our Indian batsmen don't bowl, our Indian bowlers don't bat. So, from a game's point of view, from a purist point of view, I feel that this rule is diminishing the all-rounders role, and that is not something good for the sport. But I know it does
yes.
add to the entertainment value. And one good thing is, players like Karan Sharma or Piyush Chawla, who
Hmm.
wouldn't have got a spot in the 11, at least they are
I
getting
get.
chances now. So
But
there are good, both good and bad
pros and
sides to it.
cons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think they overdid it with the whole thing. I mean, impact players. If only impact players there, that was good. With that whole team sheet thing, where there's a
correct,
batting team and a bowling team at the point of toss, that is not required. I think maybe they
correct,
change that next year. Keep the impact player because I like the impact player rule because you get chances to Amit Mishra and Piyush Chawla, all these players who are specialists
correct,
and who can't do much in the field as well. So
correct.
uh, I would want that rule in the future, but just used more tactically.
Hmm.
And you know, if your batting is falling apart, you get a batter. If your bowling is falling apart, get a bowler, and that's when it's truly used. The impact, right? Right
Correct.
now, it's being. I think Navdeep Saimi was the impact player for Rajasthan who played for SRH. So you need to be careful
Yeah, and
who you
first
play as
game
a.
Tushar Deshpande was the impact player for GTA, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He
next
redeemed
level.
himself. I'm telling you, that's I think we can have a bet on this that
Yeah.
by the end of the season, Tushar Pandey will be the new Mukesh Chaudhary, provided he plays. And the good thing with Dhoni is he will play the entire season unless
Yes.
somebody's really hemorrhaging runs. But Hungrekar will be a star. I think he has the goods with his
He
pace and
is, he is.
variation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
Deshpande
hopefully
will be a
keeps
good one.
himself injury free because his action is very similar to Bumrah,
Bumrah,
right?
right?
Which is
Yeah, yeah.
kind
The
of
small
stress
run up and
inducing
hop.
on the back. So it
Yeah,
will
yeah.
be a
It was
good.
they were doing a side to side comparison. I remember it was very similar. I think Bumrah is
Yeah.
his idol. Hope the injuries don't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall a very fun week. First IPL and first week of IPL, and hoping to see more innovation and teams peaking and plateauing through the time. It's a long, long season, 2.5 months, I think. So let's see how much we can see.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a very close IPL. There are no overwhelming
Hmm.
favorites, and there's no team that is like looking like okay, they'll definitely finish last or get the wooden spoon, right? So it's going to be a close IPL. I think for those four spots, there will be six, seven teams vying for it, and
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
see who makes it to the playoffs. So, folks, that's a wrap on our part two of our first week reflections for the IPL. Do let us know your thoughts. We had a great time, reviewing this first week. Do let us know your thoughts, and we'll come back with the second week reflections shortly as well. Till then, take care, stay safe, and have a great time watching all these exciting IPL matches. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.